Hey everybody, welcome back to Integrative Psychonautics. My name is Dave, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about why it is and how it is that people can take psychedelics for a long time and have profound experiences and still not have the transformation or the healing of the pattern that they most want to have in their lives. But before we go ahead and get into it here, really quick, I just want to introduce myself in case you are new to the channel, new to me. My name is Dave. I'm a hypnotherapist and an NLP practitioner. I'm a coach in the psychedelic space. I work with people around integration, around preparation, around personal transformation stuff, in regards to psychedelic content and experiences you've had, but also just broadly in life when it comes to overcoming or transforming issues, leveling up, transforming your sense of self, whatever it might be. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, please continue to watch this channel because there'll be a lot of that content. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, my email will be down below at the bottom of the description of this video. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Okay, so I have a little bit of a confession to make with you guys here. If you've been a follower of the channel for a while, if you like my content, and either you've come here from Reddit or you've kind of just found me, I have to be honest with you that up to this point, I've kind of allowed my fascination for all the wide variety of things that I feel aren't being spoken about in the psychedelic space. I feel like there's so many topics and so many kind of tangential points that I find interesting or think are kind of pertinent or whatever that have allowed to kind of dominate my attention and kind of steer me into all kinds of little nooks and crannies of the conversation, which has unfortunately steered me away from being really clear about kind of the center points, the main communications I want to convey on this channel. And the kind of more maybe substantial, serious, deep, like to the point kind of communications that I really want to start to create on this channel. So I have to admit to you that going forward, I'm going to be switching up my approach a little bit and really getting more serious and delivering more hard-hitting, focused, targeted content on the things that I think are not only my specialty as a coach and things that I can really speak to and speak from in terms of life experience, but I think are the things that are kind of the missing pieces of the psychedelic therapy, psychedelic conversation kind of space. If you're someone who follows this space, I'm sure you hear a lot of the same stuff on a lot of the same podcasts, whether it's from scientists or shamans or guys like Aubrey Marcus. God bless him, he's amazing. But I really want to offer a different angle into the conversation, a different perspective. And today's topic here, I think, falls under probably one of the major things that I want to start to address more and discuss more, and something that I really want to unpack and clarify for you. So if you are a person who perhaps has a lot of experience with psychedelics. You've done them for years. You've done them at festivals. You've done them recreationally. You've done them, ceremonially, personally, privately at home with therapeutic intent. Maybe you've worked with a psychedelic therapist. Maybe you have, gone and done ayahuasca work in Peru, or you've done, mushroom retreats in Europe or Jamaica or something like that. And you've had these big, beautiful, profound, transcendent experiences. But, and here's the but, for everything you've experienced and everything you've learned and all the kind of personal, awakenings and transformative moments and moments that feel like healing that you've had, all the ego deaths and all the bliss and all the emotional awakening, you still have the pattern of the issue. Let me know if that rings a bell for you. Let me know if that resonates for you. If you're this person where you have experience, but you still have the problem, I want to explain to you why that is. So without much ado, without much more fanfare, let me go ahead and unpack this for you. So this is a problem that I personally dealt with for decades. I'll be honest, I've done a lot of psychedelics. I started taking them in the early 90s. It's been about 30 years of my life to date that I've been using psychedelics on and off. I've gone through periods of really deep exploration with them. And I've had all the experiences. I've been there at the festivals. I've been there on the dance floor. I've been there in the ceremony. I've, cried my eyes out. I've rolled around on the ground in bliss and ecstasy. I've had full ego death experiences multiple times from the time I was 17. I've had profound awakenings and spiritual realizations and moments of emotional healing and resolution of all these kinds of, fears and worries, or so I thought. But what I found over time is that psychedelics alone, no matter how profound and clear the insight, no matter how much you feel you've prepared for the experience and really had a very positive, constructive, empowering, healing, nurturing, transformative experience, psychedelics alone do not create lasting change of your issue, of your problem, of whatever the real thing is that you're wanting to transform. In my experience, I not only have gone through this myself, kind of chasing the dragon, feeling like it's one more trip away and trying to really get at it and really, crack open that healing. And I know I'm so close. Not only have I gone through that, I've seen, because of the community that I was in and the people I've kind of have as friends, I've seen literally hundreds of people that I know have really deep explorations with psychedelics and still more or less have the same issues. So whatever that is, whether it's a pattern of anxiety or a pattern of depression or a pattern of dissociation from the body or a pattern of anger issues or what have you, my feeling, my sense of it at this point is that left to themselves, psychedelics can really start to deliver these profound, powerful resource states, but they do not transform the core content. And I want to tell you why that is. I want to explain to you my understanding of how that works and why that isn't happening if that's the case for you. So let me see. How do I want to put this? Okay. So I guess I'm just going to get right to the point here. I would like to kind of expand upon this more. Surely this is a topic I know I'll be touching upon probably pretty regularly, but let me kind of cut to the chase here and just get at it for you guys. So fundamentally speaking, what we have when we have a problem is we have a developed neural circuit or kind of body-mind circuit of a pattern that happens with whatever the issue is, whether it is, depression or anxiety or an unresolved issue or avoidance of something in our lives that we need to address or whatever it is. There will be a thought loop, there will be self-talk, there will be body somatic memories and sensations, there might be mental pictures, there will be a pattern that we do with our mind and with our body that is really summed up by a certain particular neural circuit that gets rehearsed every time we access the problem. That makes sense. So problems are defined by kind of like a neural circuit that we run over and over and over, habituated into our nervous system over time that we kind of can't help but repeat. And it becomes, it goes from being kind of a state to a trait, if you will, from a fear that we kind of felt at one time to a fear that becomes part of who we are and part of our personality and part of our way of living in the world. And this is where people obviously suffer and where generally that's where personal development or spirituality or therapy or something like that comes in. People want to find a way to release these patterns that cause us, dissatisfaction, suffering, discomfort, what have you, right? Okay, so that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is when you take a psychedelic, you generally have an experience of developing a neural network, a different neural network that is probably, if you had a good experience or multiple good experiences, or you had a big breakthrough, something of a positive resource state, as I would call it, or as my teachers would call it. So this might be something like bliss, joy, feeling deeply embodied, feeling deeply peaceful, feeling filled with love and compassion, feeling one with all of life, feeling transcendent, feeling deeply connected, these kinds of states, right? These kind of big, profound, positive states. And you take a psychedelic and you have an experience like that, and it becomes this thing that your deeper nervous system, your deeper intelligence auto-generates and creates. And all of a sudden you've activated this beautiful, profound new neural network for a positive emotion that's robust and powerful, right? Now, the reason that doesn't automatically transform you or heal you is because, generally speaking, for most people, we kind of, have our suffering neural pattern, and we kind of activate it, and we kind of stew in it, and we try to get outside of it. And then, maybe we take psychedelics and we come and we have this beautiful experience. And really, once that fades, the body and the nervous system being prone towards homeostasis and stability and consistency, it's going to represent what it knows, is kind of the things that seem to help you navigate your day-to-day life. And that's probably going to be whatever this problem neural network is, as strange as that sounds, right? So you kind of have this thing going on, then you have this thing going on, then you have this thing going on, then you have this thing going on. And it's kind of this flip-flopping back and forth, no matter how profound and positive and powerful the experience is. If it's not being connected back to the neural network of the problem in a really deep, integrative way, if it's not really, when you're in that positive, profound bliss resource state, if you're not able to bring that energy back to whatever it is that triggers the negative state, the negative state will continue to be there. And this is what most people do. I mean, this is, and I hate to break it to you. I hate to put it this way because it's a little less kind than I like to be about this kind of thing. But the truth is that if you're just kind of, problem, transcend, problem, transcend. And, obviously this could be with yoga, this could be spirituality, this could be with therapy, if therapy's not done right. And you're kind of going back and forth. All you're really doing is getting high to escape feeling bad. It's no different really at that point from, drinking to party and recreate, or smoking cannabis, or all the other recreational things that people do to feel a short, burst of feeling good. It's not really any different. What makes psychedelics transformative, when psychedelic therapy is done right, when and even just regular therapy or regular, personal transformation work, when it's done right, what we do is we take that powerful set of resource states, and instead of letting them just fade into memory as, oh, I know that's possible, and now I can feel that way, we take that, we revivify it, we make it amplified, we make it more alive for you, and we bring it back to the problem neurology over and over and over until the problem neurology gets neutralized. And that's when personal transformation happens. And unless that happens, and you'll know when it does, you'll feel when it does. But unless that happens, and it's not as simple as just kind of like, oh yeah, I felt good, therefore the bad feelings I used to have, go away. It's a deeper, into the brain stem and the nervous system and the deeper limbic system. It's a deeper thing than just kind of casually like having good experiences. You've got to be able to connect them back to the problem neurology. When it happens though, it will permanently clear and transform the issue. So this is why, a lot of psychonauts have this experience where it's wild. It's actually really wild if you think about it, how high and how deep into ecstasy and bliss and love and oneness and this profound spiritual sense of unity and compassion, or, if you're really good at accessing joy, it's wild how much you can deeply go into those things and have it feel so profoundly healing. And yet, if you don't connect the dots between that and whatever the problems are in your life, it will kind of remain an isolated neural path that doesn't really ultimately end up transforming your life experience in terms of behavior patterns or thought patterns or emotion patterns. So I really want you to get this, because there is a difference between, just taking a psychedelic and taking a psychedelic and having that turn into lasting transformation. And the difference isn't the psychedelic. The difference is the kind of therapeutic transformational skill of either, the person consuming it, if you're educated in how to do that, and or, any therapist, coach, who might be able to facilitate that kind of personal transformation work. Let me see. What else do I want to say about this before I wrap here? This to me, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, is something that I'm massively passionate about. This to me is the holy grail, the missing piece in the psychedelic landscape. Psychedelics have been around for thousands of years, obviously, but certainly culturally, at very least since the 50s or 60s, depending on how you want to kind of, think about that. And this has been a persisting issue. Is this gap between insight and realization and lasting personal change? And I want you to get that some of the deeper stuff in the body, some of the deeper learnings that are kind of really conditioned and patterned into the body and into the nervous system, often at a very young age or through really intense experiences. So it gets kind of really woven deep into the neurology. They are robust. They are robust even to these highly intense, profound, spiritual, transformational experiences. They are robust to change because it's your brain and your body's self-defense survival mechanism. So of course we wouldn't be a very effective organism to survive in nature if the deep learnings we had to learn from near-death experiences and traumatic moments weren't deeply locked in the automatic, don't have to think about it memory of the brain. It's called implicit memory, or procedural memory, even if you're talking about like actions you need to take in order to survive. These are robust even to the most profound spiritual states, unless you know how to interact with the nervous system in a way that unlocks these to change. And so you'll see a lot of these psychedelic therapy retreats, or therapy retreats where there's like one therapist, on staff, holding space, plus a shaman or a couple shamans, whatever, holding space for, a dozen people, 20 people, something like that, sitting, having a psychedelic experience. And, realistically, there's no way with the kind of contact of work that's needed to really help you connect the dots neurologically. There's no way that one therapist can do that for a group of people in any sort of lasting, effective way. That's kind of my stance on it. Again, I've seen a lot of people take a lot of psychedelics. I myself have taken a lot of psychedelics and seen, and been through these profound experiences and really drunk deeply from the well of bliss and ecstasy and unity and oneness and spirituality, and still had my dissociation patterns, my fear patterns, my anxieties, my shame, my guilt, all that stuff. Right. And I've seen it in so many of my friends. So I just want to encourage you, first of all, if you're someone who's done a lot of psychedelics and you're kind of like, why do I still have these issues? Hopefully now you have a better understanding of why. And I want to encourage you to understand that when you discover the right way to interact with your nervous system and unlock this stuff and transform it, it can transform really quickly. So I do want to give you a word of hope here and just kind of, reassure you that it's not your fault that you didn't know how to connect the dots properly afterwards. And this is something that, again, you're not going to hear in most of the kind of psychedelic therapy world or any of the people talking or thinking in that space so far. But there is a way, and it can be done. But if it's not done, no lasting change will happen. So I guess that's it for now. I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I'm kind of just shooting this off the cuff. But if you like this, do consider leaving a comment below and engaging, letting me know if you have any questions or if you disagree or if you had an experience that contradicts what I'm saying here, or if you have seen similar things for yourself or friends of yours as well. I'd love to hear any of that. And again, if you like this content, please do consider subscribing, liking the video, all that good stuff. And if you want to get in touch with me for any reason, whether that's for coaching or just questions, feel free to hit me up at my email down below. That's dave@integrativepsychonautics.com, really simply. And I will have more content like this on the way for you guys shortly. So thanks for watching. Much love to you all, and do take care.